If y'all could just be here to smell the inside. Oh, it smells so good. It smells just like it did when I was a kid. Don't know how that's possible, but it is. You can't beat that clunk that all the doors have on these old GMs. Pontiacs. Oldsmobiles. Buicks. They all have it. Fucking awesome. As far as I'm concerned, I think this car makes every other car on the road look like shit. So this son of a bitch is fucking awesome. But anyway, I'll show you what I'll show you if I can spit it out of my fucking head here, out of my mouth. I'll show you guys what the fuck I'm into today. Oh! Since the rising cost of everything is hitting me hard, harder than a wedding Peter, I'm going to go ahead today and fabricate some mufflers. So, they're crude looking, yes. They look like shit. I don't have all the fucking necessary great big tools and wonderful things I need to make these better than what they can be. But here's what I got in here. This is just gonna, it'll flow good. It looks like hell. Yes, it looks like shit in there, but you're not gonna see it, so it doesn't really matter. And I just bent it. I bent this piece of tin and welded a top on it. And, well, they're going to sit like this. Well, they can sit any way you want to put them. But this has to be the outlet because it's a piece of angle like this right here. This is what I use. These are my little chamber baffles, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. And this is a flat piece of tin I bent with the aid of a hammer and the vise. And it's all fucking crooked, but I'm not done yet. Stuff to clean the paint off of this. I was going to make these two big square mufflers, but I'm going to make them kind of like a glass pack. I made the set just like this before. Years and years ago, probably, oh my, it's been a while. I'd have to say, it's probably been about 12, 13 years. Maybe not that long. Maybe 12 years ago I made a set. And they sounded really good. I thought, anyway. I put them on a truck that I had, a 78 GMC that I had, and I had tailpipe after them, just straight pipe. These motherfuckers were so fucking loud. I had my mother in the truck with me coming up the hill out of Frostburg, coming up the mountain, and we couldn't talk to each other in the cab because I was on it. Getting up the hill here, I was getting her. And she goes, "Oh my God, I can't hear you. And we're 2 feet away from each other." She goes, "I can't even hear you speaking." So yeah, it was pretty loud. And the most crisp cackle I ever heard came out of those. So what I ended up doing is I cut them off. I cut the pipe back off after the muffler and put turn downs on it. And then it had like a Flowmaster type sound. It had a real nice hollow tone, and it was nice and deep. And it sounded really good. It sounded real good. So these are going on the 84 C10 because I am not going to pay $35 for a glass pack muffler for just one down here, and they ain't gonna last. I mean, these right here, they're kind of tinny. The first set I built they were heavy duty, and I'd like to build another set of those heavier ones. The best thing to do is get square stock. Not really square stock. What do I want to say here? Just square tubing. Get square tubing and get it kind of big, and put a pipe on each end, weld it in, and put pieces of tin on the ends to fill it in, and you can make yourself mufflers. Or if you can find a drive shaft, an old drive shaft off a junker, and trim the ends off it and put your own baffles inside of it, you can do that too. Or you can take a pipe and just put the whole way through it and weld it, secure it on like the top and bottom. Like take that pipe and drill a bunch of holes in it. That's all they do at the factory where they make those glass packs. They just have a they have a piece of tubing that has a bunch of holes drilled in it. Some of them are like pressed, so they have like a smooth surface sticking up out, like where the sound can bounce off. And then they just pack it with fiberglass or like a steel wool in there. They just pack it all up, and it's some good shit. So I'm trying to rest my arm here, but yeah, that's all it is basically. And I know a couple guys that have made okay. Anyway, I know a couple guys that made mufflers out of drive shafts, and they just made them and disguised them as a muffler, and they didn't put anything in there at all. They just put a piece of pipe in the middle of it, welded the fucking ends up on it, and they put them on their trucks, and they were straight piped clear out that. I mean, I've heard some straight pipe pickups. You get that pipe long and as straight as you can, oh my God, it is fucking deafening. Back when I was still in high school, there was I was out of high school, I think. It's probably like 98, probably. 97, 98. There was a boy behind me in school. He had just got his license, and he had this extended cab Ford pickup. It was like a 90s model. It had great big 33 fucking tires on it, 35s or something like that. And he had put straight fucking pipes, no converter, no muffler, no nothing, just straight fucking pipe clear back to the bumper. And that son of a bitch, when he would crack that motherfucker open, he cracked it open one day, it was raining. He was just spinning the tires coming away from the gas station. And that son of a bitch, it was so fucking loud. I mean, it made my ears ring. It was so fucking loud. And it's like, God damn, how in the fuck can you stand that fucking shit? So I thought, there's no way I would ever do that to anything. I mean, I know some of these people, these Hellcats and these 392 Challengers and Camaros and Chargers and Mustangs, they'll put straight pipes on them. They'll take the cats off or hollow them out, and they'll put straight pipe on them. I've heard of them doing that to stuff. And, I mean, they're just ear-cracking fucking loud. It's ridiculous how loud they are. So I'm not real into that. I mean, I like it loud. I like to be able to hear it. But there's a fine line there of loud and sounding good and also being loud. But you have that good sound throughout, and it's like, fuck. What the fuck? So anyway, these mufflers should sound good. I'm going to put them on the 84 C10. I'm going to run pipe back. I was going to put exhaust on it, but I don't know. Uncle Big Block, he's working on some things. I'm guessing we're going to put it on here before long. He never really said. I think he has a transmission to do, and I think he's still got buses to fuck with, I think, because they have a bus inspection here at the end of the month, I think. If not, it's already happened, maybe. I don't know. But I know the state, every state does it. They inspect school buses to make sure that they're safe and ready for the road. And you have to, adjust your brakes up. You got to make sure your tires are good. all that other bullshit. Some of the buses now have seatbelts on them. I think they're all going to be the standard now. To keep those little bastards in their fucking seats. Little assholes. They're little bastards. They're little bastards around here. You know, we haven't turned completely woke yet around here. So we don't have to worry about that, at least for now. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think America's got a sad future ahead of itself with all this bullshit that's going on. And Camel Toe Harris all of a sudden is running. I want to say one thing about that. Now, I mean, regardless of who you're going to vote for, if you're going to vote for Trump, great. If you're going to vote for Harris, I mean, I don't recommend it, but if you're going to, fine, do it. It's your fucking right. You have the right to vote. Nobody can take that right away from you. Or at least so we think. But as far as I'm concerned, the Democratic Party is trying to take your rights of voting, free speech, right to bear arms. They're trying to take it all away. And there's a tyrannical government going on in there as far as I'm concerned right now. It is very, very tyrannical, and we need to put a stop to it. And I know they're all saying the same thing right now. Donald Trump will not be president. He will not be president. Well, the only way he's not going to be president, they already tried to kill him. They tried to put him in jail. They tried to bankrupt him. None of it has worked. He has came out. I mean, we have religious leaders saying that you know, God is looking after him. I can't comment on that because I just have a different opinion on all that religion thing for myself. And I don't like to rub it in anybody's face. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we all have the right to worship who we believe in or what we believe in or what type of religion we believe in. We all have that right. That's why we came from England. Our forefathers came from England to start with for this. Because, you know, the king over there thought he could tell you who you was going to worship and who you was, you know, where to shit. So they were more or less, they were rich guys and they left to come over here to have their own fucking place. And then they ended up making a nation. So anyway, hopefully y'all know that. Hopefully they're still teaching that in schools. I don't know. These days they're kind of trying to teach gender ideology and bullshit. But anyhow, if you vote for Harris, you're voting for communism, as far as I'm concerned. Plus you're voting for an idiot. She has no idea what she's doing. She has done absolutely nothing. She's done nothing but make sure, well, her and Barack Obama and the Clintons, George Soros and the World Economic Forum, they made sure to get Biden off the ticket. Now, then they just nominated her. And you can't do that. You have to vote that person. You have to nominate them. All the voters that are voting, that are registered Democrats, have to go in and vote for this person. Nobody voted for her. They just threw her in there. Oh, well, he stepped down. Well, he's still president until the election's until what, January 5th or whatever? I guess that's it. I don't know when the new president goes in. But the point of this is they didn't use the voting process. They never asked anybody if they wanted her in there. And if he stepped down as president and she's supposed to be president, why is he still there? I don't understand that part. I mean, he shouldn't be there in control. He shouldn't be there even showing his face. He should be at home hiding in the basement or whatever. But they've been hiding Harris away. They've been hiding her. Because that's what they do with Joe. They hid him in the fucking basement. And then, you know, They clearly don't want her to debate because they know Trump's going to fucking eat her alive. Although she would probably lay on the ground and spread her legs and say, "Eat me alive," because she's a whore. But anyway, getting off topic here. But if a vote for her is securing the communist rule in our country, so the only way they're going to win now is if they pull that early voting by mail bullshit right now. If they do that, and I always thought that's bullshit because you can't, you vote early or whatever, they got to count the votes, whatever. Now, the thing is, if you vote early, fine. I think you should have to go to a voting station and vote. And I think that you should have to show them your license, your form of ID in order to do that. And then, they should issue everybody a voter's card, what party you want to be affiliated with. And it should be like your license, and you should have it on you, and you should have to present it when you go to vote. And plus, they're trying to get illegals that have ran across the border down here. They're trying to get them registered to vote because that's why they're giving them everything. They're buttering these people up, more or less hogs to the slaughter. They're buttering them up. They're giving them our tax dollars. They're giving them our Social Security. They're giving them food. They're giving them housing. They're giving them cars, phones, you name it. They're giving it to them. And they're not coming across the border. They're being flown in by the Biden administration. They're flying them in here and then just turning them loose. And we've had rapes and murders and robberies and all kinds of crazy shit going down, and there's terrorists on the watch list. They're what they're calling gotaways get in here, and that's crazy. That's fucking crazy bullshit. Cause you got a fucking terrorist from, Al Qaeda or fucking what's these other motherfuckers that Obama created, ISIS and. What else is those fuckers are over there with the Palestinians. Hamas. Yeah, that's it. There are terrorists from those organizations that snuck across the border, and they're in here. They're in our fucking country right now. They're waiting for the phone call to strike. They're just waiting for it. And plus, they're going to try and make up another virus, I guess. These are the only factors that they're going to be able to steal the election, because they're going to have to steal it in order to win. They're going to have to steal it. I don't give a fuck who you are, who you say you are. They're going to try their damnedest to cheat, because they've done it before. They did it last time. And it was the mail-in voting. They have them on camera with boxes or skids of mail-in ballots that are fake, that they just more or less counted pieces of paper with people's dead relatives on it and their dogs' names, and just it's all horseshit. They brought that shit in every fucking swing state, or not every swing state, but every major battleground state. They brought that shit in, and there you are. You got it. There it is. You got it in the bag because you fucking cheated. 81 million motherfucking people didn't vote. I'd say probably about whatever he needed to win, they made up. And those so-called voters elected him in. But at first I thought it was true. Because, they butter you up, they bamboozle you. And, when you sit and look at it, all these Democratic-controlled news channels, not really news channels, but networks, ABC, CNN, CBS, NPR, MSNBC, all of them are the same. They're democratically ran, and they all say the same fucking thing. Just look it up. And they're so dumb. And the Secret Service was in on and the Department of Justice, they were in on the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. They were all in on it. Because when you see somebody climbing a building that a bunch of Secret Service members are sitting inside, he climbs on the roof with a gun and is walling around on the roof and sets it up. And they sat and watched him for, almost an hour fucking around up there. And they tricked this fucking innocent asshole into doing this. This moron. They tricked him into doing it. And it was all a big bunch of shit. Now they're just spouting lies about it. Oh, no. We didn't know he was there. You couldn't have looked 200 fucking feet away? 300 feet? You couldn't have seen him? This farm up here is a good ways away from me, and I can see if somebody's on the roof of the goddamn buildings up there from here. They didn't see him. They didn't see his gun pointed. Come on. They were in on it. And now they're in the hot seat in Congress, and they're lying about it. They're lying about everything. They said they got with local police to inform them what was going on, and there was a shooter. And they had Secret Service snipers. This is the first time they've had actual Secret Service with Donald Trump's fucking detail. He's got his own security detail that follows him around. He's got his own armored vehicles. And the Secret Service, all of a sudden, here we are. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. So I'm urging anybody that's a fucking Democrat to stop being a Democrat. Because I'm telling you, we need control of our country now more than ever, because if we don't, we're going to be so fucked in January. It's going to be unfucking believable. Because I just fear that there's going to be way more shit going to go down. You're going to lose your... we're not going to be able to use natural gas or propane. We're not going to be able to use gasoline anymore. Diesel fuel will be gone. Coal-fired power will be gone. We'll be sitting here watching windmills spin that aren't going to produce any electricity. They won't do away with those fuels completely. It'll be a rich man's luxury. That's what's going to happen. So... And I see a lot of these people reporting about this, making their own videos about what's going to happen or what could happen, and they're screaming and hollering and slamming their fists on stuff. And there's no use to do that. I mean, if they cheat the election and there's clear proof of them doing so, then we'll have to use our right to bear arms, and we'll have to go to D.C. That's all there is to it. That's why our forefathers made this fucking truths in this Constitution. That's why they made the Second Amendment, because it is to protect ourselves from rich douchebags who think they have this ferocious appetite of wanting to control you, because they want to know what you're doing. They want to know where you're at all times. That's why they have trackers in all these cell phones, and they can sit here and look at me right now through that camera right there. They can look at me right now anytime they want, even if it's off, even if you power the thing off. There's another power supply in there that they can fucking track your every fucking move. You can wrap your phone in aluminum foil all you fucking want to. It ain't going to do nothing. It ain't going to do shit. They can stare at you through your computer, through your television. They can hear you if you have an Alexa in your house, or whatever the fuck that other one is. They can spy on you. They can hear you, everything you say. They can look at you. They can see you. And I know this for a fact because a woman my wife works with, somebody from the cable company, ouch, called her and told her that they could see her. Don't know how they could see her, but they said they could. Oh, I can see you. I can see you. You're undressing right now. She's like, holy fuck. And she hung up. She put a piece of tape over the camera on the TV and her computer so they couldn't see. But as long as you have a cell phone with you, and plus if you have a new car, that's made, I want to say, anything that's got a touch screen in it now, whatever year they started that bullshit, if you have a phone or a car with a touch screen, they can track you. And they can shut your car off too. It don't have to be electric. They can shut your car off and send the cops to come get you. I know this is terrible, horrible, whatever. Maybe I'm a liar. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know for a fact that they can see you and they can track you. They can track your every fucking move. So, me, myself, none of my cars have that shit in them to track. The only thing they can track me by is my cell phone. Plus, I have flat screen televisions in my house, and I have one laptop. Plus, my wife has computers she uses for work. Now, they can see me. And I'm the kind of person that they look at all the time because they think that I'm going to lock and load and come down there and start blowing people's heads off. But, I'm not going to do that unless they rise up against me and try to come take me and everything I got here. They're going to have a fight on their hands. Trust me. Trust me when I say that. They'll have to kill me. They'll have to come here and murder me to take everything I got and to remove my family from our property. Because that's what Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum says. You'll be in a 15-minute city and you'll be happy with nothing. While they get everything. You'll be eating plant-based and 3D printed fake meat. You'll be consuming large amounts of canola oil that makes your joints swell up and gives you inflammation. That's why I'm having such a difficult time losing weight. Because they did that so Pfizer could make a bundle off of you, because there's a lot of ingredients in high fructose corn syrup and canola oil, which is nothing but seed oils blended together, that give you way too much omega-6 fatty acids that your body doesn't really need a lot of. It doesn't need a whole lot of that. It needs omega-3s. Omega-3 is the one you need, and that's in fish oil and in beef fat and chicken fat and hog lard. That's what you should be eating. You should be eating those fats. You shouldn't be eating canola oil because that's motor oil. That's oil for moving parts on tanks and planes and old automobiles. It's motor oil is what it is. So, anyway, everybody. They are trying to kill us. It's all a big vicious cycle. You eat the shitty food, you get big and fat, you get diabetes, you rely on Pfizer for all your drugs. They sell all these shots that help you lose weight, and Trulicity and all them other ones. My wife's on Trulicity, and she's lost a pile of weight on Trulicity. And I know another guy that's on Trulicity, and he has lost like 70 pounds in 4 months. So he's doing pretty good. He weighed as much as me, but his was mostly fat. I've been lifting weights since I was 12 years old. So I have a lot of muscle on me, but then I got a lot of fat built up all over it. So I am very heavy. When I hit the water, I sink. So I'm like in the 380s. I mean, I'm a fat fuck, yes. I look like I'm obese, yes. There isn't a whole lot I can do about it because I can't afford to buy the food that I'm supposed to eat. And all this food at the grocery store is fucking poison. All the vegetables are sprayed with Roundup as pesticide shit. That right there causes cancer. High fructose corn syrup is in all your cereals, all your drinks, all your fucking anything that has any kind of sweetness to it has that in there. And that fools your brain into thinking that you're not full. It makes you feel like you're hungry. So you eat and eat and eat. And all of the fast food restaurants now that fry anything, except for Five Guys, they fry all their stuff in canola oil. Because it's the new standard. You fry it in canola oil, and it swells up your joints, causes lots of inflammation in your body. So you're kind of screwed no matter what. And then all the beef in the stores, in the grocery stores, that's from one family size pack of hamburger, which is very small now, is like at least 500 or 600 different cows, all ground up, stuck together. So that's all different kinds of bacteria in there. And plus they put a tremendous amount of fat in that meat. So when it fries up, by the time you fry it up, there ain't hardly none there. So that's basically what happens. And I have like edema in my left leg because of all this shit. That's what consuming a lot of canola oil does to you. It makes you inflamed. It makes you pack on the fucking water. And I mean, the only real thing you can do right now is probably grow your own food. Is to basically become a farmer. Manage beef, hogs, chickens, and grow your own food. That's the only way you become self-sustainable, if you make all your stuff from scratch. And you quit buying canola oil based things. Even the frozen French fries have it in them already. They have it in them now. Every one of your frozen French fries in the stores, if you read the back, it'll tell you there's canola oil in them already. If not, it is rapeseed. Well, not rapeseed, but cottonseed and soybean oil. Soybean oil isn't any good for you either. So anything that has those, and anything that says enriched on it, like flour, the best thing for you to do is get organic flour, because that's the stuff that is good. If it's organic, it's good. Because all the shit we had in the stores in the past was organic. And now that they changed it around and put all this garbage in our food, now the organic stuff is way expensive, and they make it that way so your poor ass can't afford it. That's what they do. But I'm here to talk about mufflers, and I get clear on this other bullshit. But right now, my back's against the wall. I don't make very much money now because of all the inflation. That's another thing that they caused, and they sit around and tell you that she gets up there, Harris gets up there and says, I'm going to put a rein in this inflation. You know what, bitch? What's wrong with doing it now? You motherfuckers are in office right now. You can't do it now? If they turned around and deported all the assholes that came in here, do this now. If they deported all the assholes they have that come across the border and are flying in, they turn around and round them all up and send them back, secure our border, start drilling here at home, open them pipelines back up, bank on fucking coal and natural gas, everything will come back to normal. We'll have $1.50 or 60 cent a gallon gas. We'll have affordable propane. We'll have, economic stability. The prices of everything will drop. Interest rates will come back down. The cost of everything will just plummet. back down to reasonable, affordable levels. But they don't want to do that because they want to keep their thumb on you. They want to keep you scared. They want to keep you down. Because as much as they can keep you down and keep you scared and keep in office and keep in power, they're going to keep you down. They're going to basically enslave you. That's the goal, is to enslave the fucking whole goddamn thing here. We're going to enslave you. You're not going to have to work. But you can't say what you want to say. You can't have guns. You can't have cars. You can't have property. You can't have a house. All this stuff will be taken away. Anyway, everybody, I'm going to get back to work on this, and I'll show you all the finished product. So, see y'all here when I have these both done. All right, here we are. We're fucking done finally. See in here. That's the little, you can see it's going to flow around it. It's going to reflect some sound. Same here. There's your inlets. These are real specific. You have to put them on that way. If you don't, you're going to have some immense back pressure. No power and all that other bullshit. So there. Fuck me. That's done. Oh. Wow. Just finished that up. Oh my, it's a hot whore out this evening. I don't even know what time it is. Well, it's 5 o'clock. So, Saturday evening, 5:00 fucking clock. I am beat. And I got a motherfucking wolf pack up here. My sister's dogs are fucking going insane. You would think they're the wolf pack. As soon as they leave, man, them motherfuckers up there fucking. Oh, drives you fucking insane. Ah, shit. Just thought I would keep y'all focused on the judge here, because, you know, who wouldn't want to sit and stare at this motherfucker all day long? I love fucking looking at this thing. I love watching it go up and down the road. I fucking love it. But one thing, though, I would change about it is the wheels. When I was little, my dad had these turbo-style wheels, kind of like the ones on the General Lee, but they had more spokes. The one on the General, that's a Vector wheel. I'm not sure what kind of wheel these other ones are up here, because I looked all over them and I don't see anything on there. The difference is the Vector has 10 spokes on it, and these other ones, like that are on like the A-Team van, they have 15 spokes per wheel. I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, the ones on the General Lee fucking look fantastic. I mean, back in the 80s, that was it. Back in late 70s, early 80s, that was the wheel to fucking obtain. Plus, GM was putting them on things. They put them on Corvettes. They put them on those Grand Nationals, those Turbo Buicks, you know, they had them on. Some of the Trans Am had a similar version, but not really. They had that big hubcap that covered up, like on Knight Rider. They were different, but they had like fins on them. But I just think those turbo wheels are the fucking shit. I would love for him to put a set of them back on it. He had a pain. He said it was a pain in the ass because they made the tires rub in the wheel well, and it was because they stuck way out on it. I mean, they stuck out. which made it look fucking badass, made it look tough. I mean, I really like that shit. When they stick out there and it sits up high, because he had it set up way up high, and it had those turbo wheels on it. They were 15 by 10s, and it had a set of Kelly supercharger tires on it. They were bias ply tires. Of course, back in the 80s, you could still get bias ply at your dealers everywhere. You could get those. Today, I don't think you can. I mean, they can order from Coker, and those Kelly superchargers there, they retooled them. They are making them in a radial version, but they are out of this fucking world. They're like $200 and some a piece, almost $300 a piece by now, I would think. That's like the Firestone wide ovals that came on these cars from the factory. They are like $300 a piece. And they have them in radial construction, but they look like the old bias ply. And as far as I'm concerned, I think, I mean, aside from, these are Mastercraft tires. They have the white letters, which I really like. I like white letter tires, because they're fucking awesome. And black wall tires are fucking gay. Look like, absolute nothingness. Just like all the cars that they make today, they all have black wall tires on them, and they're plain Jane. Hey, don't look at me. I look like everybody else in the crowd now. Because, why would you not want to stand out? But, I have vehicles. I put my own twist on all my stuff. And it's me when you see me. Because I'm the only one that has this shit. I mean, all us hot rodders put our twist on stuff. When we're making things or buying things, we buy a different set of wheels, or we do a different style. We paint them different colors, and, put like racing stickers in the back windows. I like I like doing that stuff because it's awesome, and it's part of my life, and I fucking love it. I mean, it's like people that open up restaurants to make food. They want people to enjoy themselves and taste something good and be happy, and they want to make money at doing it. So they, love doing it. I love these fucking old cars. I can't help it. You can say what you want about them. You say they're junk. You can say they're ugly. You can say whatever. But these cars are unmistakable. There's no way that you would get these old cars mixed up with anything they fucking manufacture today. There's no fucking way. When these cars here were being made, when they were being built, they still had fabricators building these cars, but computers and stuff were starting to come in the mix. And body-colored bumpers was coming in. But these cars were still made with quality because Body by Fisher. Fisher Body Plant made these bodies on these cars. And they're an old carriage company from, 18 whatever. They made carriages at one time, and then they started making car bodies. And GM took them on, and then GM, pretty well slashed their throats. I think what it was, GM bought them out, and then they took them down in the 90s, because after the 80s, nothing had Body by Fisher marked on it after the 80s. So the only thing that came close was some of the late pickup trucks, some of the late square body stuff. Because in 87, they changed all the half tons over to that rounded style, what they call, everybody's calling them OBS, and that's retarded. It's like, what does OBS stand for? Old body style? That tells me a lot. What for fucking retard made that up? And again, I'm going to veer off the beaten path here for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and a thing I was watching this morning. He's got a YouTube channel. I forget what the fuck his name is. He's up there in Canada. He does a lot of stuff in Canada. Mosaic something or Mosaic. I forget what the fuck his name is. But he has a pretty good thing. He's got a dog on there, one of them short-tailed. It's like some kind of rabbit dog of some kind. Calls him Duff. I forget. He's a pretty good guy. He knows his shit. And he jokes around a good bit. He's funny to watch, and I enjoy watching his stuff. And he, what do I want to say here? Has a lot of knowledge. I mean, he knows more about that shit than I do. He's older than I am, I think. But he's really good with that shit. And he just goes all over. He finds things. He fixes them up. You know, he has a bunch of stuff. He sells stuff. He sells vehicles, and you know, to fund his channel and the little organization. He makes a living at doing that stuff. But anyhow, he had some Fords. The reason I told you that is to tell you this. He had an old Ford truck from the 80s, and he was giving it a little TLC. It was a nice truck to start with. It had a couple of dings and dents in it, and a little bit of rust here and there. It wasn't horrible. And I like those late 70s Ford trucks. I don't like them after that. I think they're all ugly after the 70s models. But anyway, I was watching an episode of one of them shows on Power Block where they go get an old truck and fix it up. And they put a bunch of horsepower in it. They do ungodly shit, and a lot of times they put great big ridiculous wheels and stuff. But anyway, they all got into calling it. This is where I'm leaning off. I'm going off from the OBS bullshit, because they do that too. Oh, I've got a Chevy OBS from the 90s. No, you got a 90s Chevy truck. That's all I can call them. That's all I can think to call them, because they're the trucks that had the computers in them, and they started that crazy ass fucking electronic fuel injection bullshit that was unnecessary in trucks. It made them run a little bit better than the carbureted versions of the 80s, but they weren't real good. They still didn't have a lot of fucking power. Like everybody used to, oh my God. They didn't have anything real good till they brought the Vortec heads out. And then, you know, those flow as good as an aluminum head. So, yeah. If you ever get a chance, you're building a small block, get a set of those Vortec heads. Not VTEC, that's Honda. Vortec. Vortec is General Motors. They have good big valves in them, like 202, and they have high flow characteristics, and they have a little bit of a different intake design. You put those on, you'll have to get an intake to fit it, because the old style intake won't fit them. But they will fit the old casting of the small block, but the intake is what you're going to have to change, and they're like $300 fucking dollars. Edelbrock makes them. They all make them. They all make them now. It used to be it was just GM Performance Parts only made them. But anyhow, I'm going to get to these Ford trucks, because Ford had the Explorer pickup. They had the Ranger. They had the Lariat, the XLT. They had all those trucks. F-150, F-250, F-350. Now, those F-250s, you could get them with a heavy-duty suspension to, you know, yank gooseneck trailers with. You could get a 460 in them. And these guys are all making shit up. I've looked through the old brochures of these Ford trucks, and nowhere in these Ford trucks is this an option. The Highboy. Oh, I got a Ford Highboy. No. That's wrong. They don't fucking make that shit. They never called it that. They made it, but they didn't call it that. That's not what it was called. It was just a heavy-duty package, is all it was. The truck sat high. It had tall tires on it. It was a 3/4 ton. It was a heavy-duty 3/4 ton pickup truck. You know, like the C20 Chevy or the C30. Same fucking difference. I wish they would stop with that. They just make up an abbreviation or they just make up shit as they go along. And it's like when you see an old car and they don't know what it is. Oh, that's an old squirrel getter over there. That's a squirrel getter. Look at it. It's got a hitch on the back. Jiggle my titties. No, that's not. No. No. Stop it. There is no OBS. There is no highboy Ford. There's no highboy. That's wrong. That's false. It's bullshit. It's just like the thing of guys can have babies. They can't. They cannot. Men don't have uteruses. They don't have pussies. Even though you can slice their fucking dicks in half and stuff them up inside their fucking bodies. It might look like a fucking snatch, but it ain't got the snatch parts on the other end of it. You still have balls. They just tuck them up inside of you, so you don't see them no more. I have some questions about that. Boy, that sounds horrific. That sounds very awful. God damn. God, that sounds so painful and awful. It goes to show you, if somebody's willing to go through an operation like that, these people need put on medication for their brain chemistry, because apparently they're off. The chemical balance of their brain is off by a lot, and I blame it on Roundup. They're squirting on our fucking crops. I'd rather have a goddamn cucumber with a worm inside of it, and I can just cut the bad parts out and eat the rest of it, instead of eating a fucking chemical that's got arsenic in it. It's in rat poison. It's pretty bad when I could take up smoking right now and not be at as high a risk of cancer than what I would be if I went and bought a box of fucking scalloped potatoes or a couple of vegetables from the fucking market and never rinsed the fucking pesticide off, or a loaf of bread. It's safer to smoke. It's safer to smoke fucking filterless Camels now than what it is to eat the food that we have to eat. It's disgusting. It's fucked up. But after that shit with they cut your dinghy and slide it up in you and put your balls in. What happens when these transgender women get prostate cancer? Then what? Then what the fuck? What are you gonna do then? Oh, I'm a female. You can argue that point with cancer all you fucking want. Prostate cancer doesn't give a fuck. It's going to fucking take your life, whether you fucking like it or whether you don't. Dumb. Fucking crazy shit. God, everything sucks today. Everything's so terrible. Everything is so awful. Just never ever thought that shit would go off the rails fucking bad as it has today. And I blame the current administration in office. I do. They have done this to distract you from what's really going on. And I keep getting this. I have this thing I put up about Barack Obama saying that since he was president, he's created ISIS and all these other fucking terrorist organizations and Black Lives Matter and all that shit. And Facebook keeps taking it down, saying it's misinformation, that he didn't make any of that stuff up. Sure, he was the president, but he didn't make Black Lives Matter. Well, he might not have made it, but he helped it along. He did. Because it was made, it's an organization that's made to distract you from what's going on. What a better distraction than a city burning down? What a better distraction than making children believe that they aren't who they are from birth, and by giving boys tampon dispensers in bathrooms. Men dressing like women, going out into the street, singing songs in protest, singing, "I'm here, I'm queer, I'm coming for your children." What is that? That is fucking retarded. I have no words other than that for that. I just can't fucking believe. This is fucking insanity. When I was a fucking kid, sure, there was homosexuals and there was lesbians. They've been there for a long time. There wasn't near as many of them. At least I don't think there was. I think they were still scared to come out back then. But anyway, and I knew when there was somebody that was gay or lesbian in front of me. I knew it. Because the way they dress, the way they move, the way they talk. I have no fucking problem with anybody. I don't. These people, these young people that have no clue what they are, that is on their parents' shit and their parents letting themselves be manipulated by horse shit that the government's trying to pass off to try and distract you from the real issues. They're distracting you from them trying to steal your rights. That's what this all is. This is all a game to distract you from the real going on, the real things that are going on. And I never ever thought I would see in my life the opposition party being targeted by a sniper appointed by the other party. I never ever thought that they would have ever stooped to that level of greed and corruption to kill off or imprison their political opponents. When I was in elementary school, Ronald Reagan was president, he told us about this. He reminded us of this stuff all the time. He told us, look, you have Second Amendment rights and you have freedom of speech rights for a reason. They are your rights and they will never be taken away because they are guaranteed by the Constitution of these United States, and they will always be there. And it's to keep a government from going off the rails and trying to enslave and murder its own citizens. Because this is what China does. The Chinese kill and eat their own. They do. They're not allowed to have luxuries like meat. They eat crickets and bugs and shit. And Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum is just fascinated with how China runs their fucking country. That motherfucker is just fascinated, and it's because his dad was a Nazi. His dad worked on flamethrowers for the Nazis so they could burn all of us to death in war. I mean, this shit has been going on for too long now. Having drag queens come to elementary schools to teach our children about sex. These people, they're confused about their own sexuality. Why would you let them come in there and try to teach your children about sex. They're too young to know. All they know is their body parts, and that it's wrong for some grown-up to be touching them in an appropriate way, in an inappropriate way. And, we were taught, I was taught, that, a van with no fucking windows that was trying to coax you into it with candy is a bad thing. Now they're back. We eradicated them back in the day. Now they're back. It's like they've been sitting in hiding, waiting to come back. Hey, I'm back. I'm going to come get your fucking kid. And that person might not molest them, but they're going to sell those kids off into the sex trade. And then all these celebrities, you see all these celebrities in this. And this Epstein list, it's out. You can see it. You can see who's on it. Do they care? No. These celebrities, they don't care. Sean Combs. Motherfuckers trafficking people for sex. Molesting kids and young girls and young boys. And doing weird, fucked up shit. And it's like, why isn't this motherfucker in jail? Why don't we hang this motherfucker? He is a no good piece of fucking scum, as far as I'm concerned. Why would you do that? I don't know. I mean, I'm getting pissed off just thinking about all this stuff. These people were just fucking retarded. I don't know. But y'all know, I mean, if you all watch my shit enough, y'all know where I stand on everything. I don't even why even fucking wasting my time talking about it, because nothing happens. Nothing gets fixed. Nothing changes. But I know it's a beautiful evening here. And I know that everything's okay, or right close around me. But anyway, I kind of zoned out there for a minute. I talked about shit I didn't need to talk about, and I just wanted to show you my fucking mufflers, Christ's sakes. I know my dad, he's going to shit because, I used his welder, but he ain't going to be mad about that. But I was going to use mine. I have this Eastwood MIG. And he had rotor cuff surgery, so he hasn't been over here in the garage fucking around because he is getting into physical therapy to regain the use of his shoulder so he can, reach and grab things with his right hand and all that shit again. And he's kind of discouraged. He doesn't get to do things that he wants to do. He's been sitting around, and he hates sitting around. He's got to be up doing something. He wants to go back to work and everything. But anyway, last time he was in here, he used my MIG and left the gas tank on, and now it's empty. So everybody, if you have a welder, make sure you shut the fucking gas off. Oh, y'all probably already know that, but sometimes we forget. Just make sure you shut the gas off, because it will leak. Even though you can't hear it, it'll leak real slow. So anyway, everybody, I'll see you on the fucking next one. Hopefully we'll be putting these to some use very soon. And, boy, they're small. Some hooker headers. I don't know why they're so little. But it only has like a 2.5 inch outlet in the fucking end of the header. But, they're on a 305. It doesn't matter. But anyway, everybody, see y'all on the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you like this shit. If not, don't fucking do it. I can't make you do anything. But I'll see y'all on the next one. If there is a next one. If there is a next time. Later.